Hello and welcome once again to our live stream Lockdown in Dunreen D&D campaign. I am your DM Hesper, and tonight we're joined by, I guess I'll go ahead and go by that, Cados.
Hello, I go by Raine.
And Lani.
Hi, I play Roux.
And Feugy.
Is that me? Yes, it is. It's Remy.
And last in our player group is Aster.
Hi, I'm Aster, and I play Ryan, and I also got done writing a whole character backstory for Albrecht Muschel, who I will be double playing tonight. The Matryoshka doll just keeps opening to reveal more personas.
Yeah. And we got Khaleesi here, and still no Bubba. Is he still at the rodeo?
Thought rodeo was canceled.
I thought
that's right.
radio was canceled.
I
He's
forgot.
camping or something?
Rodeo.
Or I guess doing family stuff now that the rodeo's canceled.
Like honestly, fair enough though, because we don't really have anything for him to do right now.
No, and it'd be really awkward to bring him in with the situation that you guys are in right now.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so last time that we left off, you guys deciding to basically check up on your disguises, make sure everything's good. Decided to head out of the forest and start making your way back towards Dunreen in this carriage. On your way back, you guys eventually make it back to the gates, telling Schnurby to try to stay out of trouble. Speaking of which, I guess Schnurby's just in Schnurby in I guess Schnurby's technically in the backpack of Roux right now. I'm just trying to make sure. Anyways, as you guys made it to Dunreen, and you guys had to wait around for quite a while, and eventually, you were informed that due to the suspicion of your wagon coming out of the woods, they were going to place you under arrest and perform an investigation. After quite a lengthy investigation, eventually you guys, with a bit of skepticism, eventually did manage to talk to being let back into the town. As you guys made your way in, you guys eventually came to the basically I would say like the upper echelons, the like high town, I guess you can call it, where a lot more of the noble like families probably preside, and the richer folk also preside here. Um, Eventually making your way up to the keep of Dunreen. Each time being escorted by a different group of guards. Eventually managing to be 4 guards by the time that you got up to the keep. Once you guys made your way inside the keep, you were led to basically this kind of audience council chamber kind of structure that had 8 seats that were occupied and 5 seats that were unoccupied for a total of 13 seats. The most notable ones were the seat in the middle, which it's a lot more intricate and decorative chair, and the seat to the right, which seemed to be a little bit more intricate as well. Not quite sure what who
The
proceeded in
Jarl
this
and the
seat.
Jarl's wife, maybe?
Probably. Just from assumptions, but anyways. As you guys entered and presented Ryan as Albert. Albert.
Nope.
No,
Albrecht.
Albrecht Muschel. You started getting questioned by one of the people, and that's essentially where we'll pick back up. Oh, did I? I guys had you on the shit page. Shit. God damn it.
I didn't
didn't-
even think to tell you this time.
Yeah. I was kind of busy with some other stuff. Anyways, we'll go ahead and put you guys there. Just kind of give you guys kind of like a atmosphere kind of page. I don't have a
Where's the
court
Phoenix
page.
Ray courtroom? Come on.
Anyways, as you're sitting there, like an older human, essentially brings up the question of, um, you know, well, like I said, we'll pick up one of the older, probably the oldest human in
Right.
this place. He speaks up and he's like, "I could have sworn I heard that Mutual can't have children."
Yeah, that's correct. I am Mushel's nephew, who was raised to keep up the family titles.
Hmm. Let me check something real quick here. And do something on my end.
Are you also
Also,
going to
who do
tell
we
me
lose?
Lord Mutual didn't have any brothers or sisters?
Well, yeah. Well, I got to see if he recalls any of their siblings. I'm seeing if he has any knowledge of the Mutual family other than the one that the one that you're claiming you know, head family from. I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to remember, and yeah, we'll go from there. Um, no, he doesn't seem to recall any of the other siblings' names, so he's going to believe it.
Sick.
So
Hmm.
if he probably would have rolled better, he probably would have questioned you in which one.
Okay.
So, anyways, as you're sitting here, in the room, 8 figures. One of them does stand out to you. Does look familiar. The one that looks familiar, is
Gerald?
nope. Gerald's not here.
Okay.
He's kind of on the left. Um, you guys don't like him.
Is it the Archbishop Mage?
Yep, Archmage Grandclaw is currently in the room,
Oh
and
boy.
he doesn't seem to be paying too much attention to you. He seems to be busy with looking through other stuff and such, like scrolls and
Okay, so he's got like
other books.
he's brought his other work with him, essentially.
Yeah, and he looks kind of, it's very easy to see. He looks kind of annoyed being here in the first place.
Yeah, I bet. I am too, buddy.
Other than him, the other 7, you don't really know.
Okay.
Like I said, there's the elderly male human who you talked to before. There's a pretty stout dwarf in here. Um, there's a about a little bit older than middle aged female human, and kind of hard to pinpoint this gnome on how old she is, but there is a female gnome in there. And let's
Should
see
I be
here.
writing down the race and descriptions of everybody in front of me, or are we good?
It just depends on how much information you guys manage to pull from them and stuff, and
Okay.
how important they are. I'm just telling you in case there is something that you're interested in. So, like I said, there's a Grand Claw, the old dude, dwarf, female human. The 2 more human males seem to be, like I said, again, a little bit older than middle aged.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one is another dwarven male.
Okay.
And as you guys asked before, no, none of the dwarves are stonecutter.
Mm-hmm. Okay, actually, are any of them wearing any I don't know, symbols or anything like that we recognize it being, I don't know, the stonecutter symbol. Maybe we've seen the fang and claw symbol at this point, but, just as examples, are they wearing anything that we've, seen before that would give us an idea of identity?
One of them, one of the middle-aged males, humans,
Hmm.
um, he is holding what appears to be a holy symbol that you've seen before. Um, if you want to recall which holy symbol that is, I'll need a religion check from somebody. But he's currently holding on to this holy symbol.
Okay. I'm glad you said from somebody, because it ain't gonna be me.
I'll do it.
Okay. Oh no!
Oh no. I have it.
Ain't heard of it.
A 7. Yeah, this it seems really weird. Why is there? I mean, you kind of recognize the symbol. The symbol's not hard to realize. It's just kind of wondering
Is it also her
more along.
symbol?
No, it's
Okay.
it's Tyr's symbol.
You did.
Tyr is the god of
Oh,
civilization, law, and justice.
right.
Okay.
Yep, TYR.
Okay. How typical. Okay, so as far as I know, I haven't gotten any kind of affirmative since I've said my piece. Is that right?
Yeah, no. Just looking around, nothing looks other than that very symbolistic of anything like nothing along the lines of the stonecutters or anything
Mm-hmm.
like that.
I'm waiting for one of them to pipe up in a nasally voice.
No, there is no male gnomes here.
Okay. I'm glad you knew who I was talking about. Okay.
Yeah. Anyways. Uh, let's see here. All right. Well, I guess the older man once again, he seems to probably be more along the lines of probably leading this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anywho, um, as I've stated before, uh, and I'm pretty sure that you've heard it before. I could have sworn, unfortunately, though, due to issues, can't seem to find the agreement written up that was dealing with the Ice Rider family.
Okay, so is that all? Is he expecting a response from me?
Yeah, he's kind of, kind of seems kind of cute and puzzled because he does know that there's a contract with the Ice Raiders,
Mm-hmm.
or with Ice Rider, but not with Mutual, and
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of just kind of interested on, why your family would be here.
Okay, so I will say that I didn't know I was going to be the heir to the mutual line until I was well into my teenage years, and then it was kind of figured out that uh there wouldn't be a son, so I was made the heir, like the future heir. Um, as far as the Ice Riders are concerned, um, they stepped in under the assumption that there would be no heir, and so their family would be next in line. So I think at whatever time the agreement was made, they might not even have known about me.
Okay. All right. Well, that's interesting. Um, considering all things that I know of Triple Slow, granted, I don't know everything, but I could have sworn that the Ice Rider family was the larger family dealing with trade. Granted, there's multiple trade nobles in this in that area. Granted, Mutual is one of them, but as I stated before, I could have sworn that there wasn't bitter blood between the two, as I've been apparently foretold.
The
And
Ice Riders would want you to think that they're the bigger family.
okay,
We
go
tend
ahead
not
and roll.
to. Our town tends to not, air its dirty laundry out to the public.
Go ahead and roll me a deception check, um, to see how well he takes that compared to his. Wait,
Nice.
interesting. Well, I guess somehow my information must have gotten. Oh, uh, mixed up. So I'm assuming that you're here to negotiate some other kind of deal, I assume.
That's correct. I'm hoping to see the ledger myself, if that's a possibility.
In, in in due time. Uh, granted. Um, first of all, we have to get through oh, a couple of familiarities and such, and granted, there's been some um doubt thrown towards you and your companions at the moment with current circumstances that I'm sure that you're quite well aware of outside.
Uh, we've been on the road for a while, but I do notice the two well-decorated empty chairs in front of me.
That's not what he was making reference to. He kind of holds up his hand, and I was talking about outside of town and why you were detained.
I got the feeling that's how you treat all nobles entering your town.
Well, with certain circumstances and such. I mean, sadly to say, it's not our best foot forward, but with certain uh issues that we're currently dealing with, it has made trusting a little bit harder. And after he kind of says that, Grand Mage Arc, Grand Mage, Archmage Grand Qua, fucking mouth.
This is your name. You made
I know,
this.
I did. I don't know. I was looking at the name too, and I was hello dyslexia.
Yeah.
Anyways, at this point, Archmage Grand Qua kind of piques interest at that, and kind of shoots a remark at the older gentleman. He's like, "Well, if I'd be allowed instead of dealing with such petty pleasantries, I could be out there figuring out this issue." And yeah, granted, the older gentleman doesn't look too happy about that remark from him. But anyways, he kind of retorts back with the Grand Mage, Archmage Grangois, and goes, personally prefer if you'd keep your grievances when we don't have, I guess, when we don't have guests currently within earshot.
It seems like Dunreen and Tippleslow aren't all that different after all.
I would assume anywhere that has multiple people. Oh, how should I say? Okay, I was just trying to figure out who we keep dropping. I guess it's Khaleesi.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's probably true for anywhere that seems to be held by those who, how should we say, towns that and cities that have to deal with multiple folk who are in charge.
I'm trying to, say things that make this guy relate to me, so I'm easier to believe.
Yeah, I understand.
So, are there any other questions for me?
Oh, well, I mean, as I stated before, we do have a few, how should we say, concerns. And mostly dealing with the peculiar, how should we say, events that happened before your arrival.
Could you be more direct when speaking? I'm not sure exactly which events you're referring to.
I kind of have a feeling that you do, but just in case you do need your memory refreshed, I'm speaking of a particular farming establishment outside and what was located there.
Right. So, uh, we took a rest in the woods. We hadn't eaten anything for a while, so we stopped to eat. And we covered our tracks on the way to the woods because we saw some suspicious figures in that farmstead. Uh, I'm not sure exactly what happened over there, but we didn't see fit to cover our tracks on the way between the woods and Dunreen. Is that what you're
Okay.
referring to?
A bit, yes. Hmm. Oh, let's see here. Well, anyways, what do you think about this? Uh, let's see here. Yeah, what do you think about this, Bonzek? This older gentleman turns and starts talking to the one who seems to be, holding the holy symbol, the tear,
Mm-hmm.
and seems to be lost in thought there for a moment, and then before getting interrupted. Well, right. Anywho, well, there's one way to be absolutely sure
Uh-oh.
about what they're saying. You just give me a moment to prepare this.
When Zone of Truth is cast, I can choose to fight it, right? And do they know about it if I do?
I'm trying to remember if they know if you've. I will need to check that real quick.
Because I'm assuming that's what's happening here.
Let's see here. Until creatures that enters a charisma save on a failed save, creature can't speak. Affected creatures are aware of the spell and thus can avoid answering questions which would normally respond to as a lie. Such creature doesn't really say too much about. I mean, I guess it really depends on the level of the I guess the caster.
Okay.
Anyways, he seems um to get up from his chair um and pulls pulls from the side of the chair out in front. It looks like a giant like hammer, like a giant two-handed hammer. And he is going to stand up, and he taps the hammer 3 times, and then seems to walk by, tap the hammer another 3 times. Essentially, what he's doing is he's going around in a perimeter of a square around you guys, and each time that he stops, he taps the hammer 3 times. After the final one, when he taps the hammer the final time, I will need everybody to roll me a charisma charisma saving throw. All right. Remy and Raine, both of you feel it, the magic take a hold in your head. You feel like no matter what you say, everything that you have to say is truthful.
I will say you aren't being compelled to say anything.
Yeah, it's basically
you
can't
don't
tell
just
a
start
lie.
spilling your guts, you know.
Yeah, basically, if you're like, oh, I'm gonna answer this question, but I'm gonna answer it in the form of a lie, then you're basically compelled to tell the truth.
What about omission?
Huh?
Omission, like when you lie by omission?
The way that the spell is worded is an affected creature is aware of the spell and can thus avoid answering questions to which it would normally respond with a lie. So
Okay.
you'd have to essentially avoid answering the question.
Okay.
So you two are affected.
Like a politician.
Yeah. You two are affected, but but you do gotta remember that even if you avoid answering the question, what you answer the question with still has to be truthful.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, all right. So he taps the hammer, and then he goes, "Okay, well, I guess seeing as this is my domain, I guess I will proceed with the questions if that's all right with you, Grold or Groll." And the oldest gentleman seems to nod as this one who you responded to is Bonzek seems to sit back down in his chair, holding his hammer in one hand, and seems to be watching you guys fairly intently. Right. So, anyways, I will be. So, the demons at the farmstead. What happened to them?
Who are you directing the question to?
He seems to be looking at all four of you.
Well, I mean, since we're playing as, I guess, loyal servants, so to speak, to Ryan, I'm just gonna look at Ryan to wait for him to respond.
I didn't see any demons at the farmstead.
Okay. And your attendants?
Sorry, I had a big yawn there.
I'll glance
don't-
back at them and say, I don't believe they would have either.
But I wasn't
I saw
asking
no
you.
demons.
What about the other two of you?
Out of character, there weren't any demons there, right?
I don't
there's
think so.
No, just those
The men.
Yeah, the men turned into something, but they weren't necessarily. There weren't actual demons there. They were
Right.
demon worshippers.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, we didn't see any.
Nope. No demons.
Hmm. Let's see here. I'm trying to think here. If because I'm trying to think here because yes, they weren't demons when you first saw them, but does that necessarily mean
They
that they
drank
would?
potions and turned into big apes.
They
That's what you.
transformed
Yeah.
into beasts, but to say that we know that they were demons, not necessarily.
Okay.
So basically, I guess out of character, we don't know to the extent of their corruption, so to speak. So we don't know if the demons have completely and totally
Yeah, that's why I was
taken
trying to sit
control.
here and try to figure out if
Yeah,
you
the way you
guys.
described them, they could have been like druids. you know?
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. All right.
Well, I was straight up under the impression, anyways, that they didn't transform into demons. They were doing some kind of spell to maybe summon some or something.
Yeah.
Anywho. All right, then. Next question. So, what caused that farmstead to burn down?
The. Hmm. Hmm.
Fire was lit before we got there.
Yeah, I'm pretty
That-
sure fire.
That's a lie. That's a lie. Oh wait, no, that's Lani.
No,
that's right.
That's
Sorry.
Lani.
Yeah, I got them mixed up.
We sound similar. It's
Was
okay.
it? I thought it was on fire because we saw the smoke, and that's why we went over there.
Oh, that's funny.
No.
No.
No, but
No, the guy shot a fireball at us and
at
lit
Remy
the
when
place
he
on
was
fire.
in the
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm
You have to
gonna
be
retract
careful.
my answer then.
Be careful what you say. Yeah.
I mean, do we want to let them know that we were attacked? Because I don't see any harm in doing that.
But remember, we have already established that we don't necessarily want to admit that we fought them. So we have to be careful how much we give away. We need to give enough information to let them know that we weren't the ones demon worshipping.
Mm-hmm.
But Ryan already stated like he already stated kind of the premise of our story and how we came
I
to be in the forest.
I already told the guards that we weren't involved in the fight, and I'm assuming that made it up the chain of command already, because I didn't want the guards suspicious of us at the time, like.
Right.
So I'm trying to make sure we don't get caught in a lie somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know we were going to get truth blasted today, but
Just another day in Dunreen.
Yep.
So to answer that question, then someone did it. It wasn't us, and I'm Raine. So, and that is the truth. And I don't know who it is because we never got their name. This is an individual with a red cloak.
You say all that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we kept saying how we saw people in red cloaks and they saw
Okay.
remnants of it, but
Okay.
yeah.
He's waiting for the other three of you to respond.
Yeah, I assume it was fire.
I assume it was fire.
That's a great answer.
That really is.
Yeah, what Raine said to the letter.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
It's the men that were before us.
You okay?
What
Yeah,
Sophia
you okay?
said to the letter. Yeah, I'm good. Nothing happened.
You said the wrong name.
Yeah, nothing happened.
I didn't catch it at first, so I'm not going to hold it against you.
What
But now
Sophia
that you
said
bring
to the
this up,
letter.
yeah, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about your cat for?
That's
Anyways, okay. So there apparently was a figure in a red cloak that caught the building on fire. Now the question is, why did he burn the building?
We don't know.
You're talking about some sort of demon summoning, correct?
Was that Raine? You said I don't know?
yes.
Technically, Raine, you do know why the building was caught on fire.
I was fighting those gorillas.
And we don't know why he chose to do an area of effect.
Yeah, I don't know why he chose to burn the building. I don't know why he chose to burn it, but my arm was getting bitten by the gorilla, and I'm over here like struggling to kill it.
She's fighting a guy who turned into a big gorilla. She's getting bitten, and suddenly everything's on fire around her.
That's basically it was. Everything was on fire, so I don't know why he caught it. I was trying to get to the building to see who Remy was fighting, but
like every once in a while, like every other time, like we're supposed to be like deaf, blind, and mute every time that like a puzzle comes up. Why can't we use that to our advantage sometimes?
So yeah, to be honest, I don't.
Now,
I
can't say I'm okay. Go on.
Honestly, to tell you the truth, I would have to say that technically, you saying that you don't know is kind of a lie, because I would have to say that you would assume that the reason why the building was burnt down is because you were fighting them, and the building just happened to get in the crossfire.
Can I lead this one?
Go ahead, because I mean, I would have said then the same thing as Remy, caught on fire. So I don't know why. Caught on fire.
Yeah. Can I interject here, Hesper?
Okay.
Now I'm not an expert with demon summoning, but I do assume it involves a lot of fire. That's it. Full stop.
Okay. So essentially what you're saying now is, because if I remember right, you did say, and the rest of your group did say this, that you guys saw no demons, but now you're saying that you saw a demon summoning?
You said yeah, you've been accusing us of demon summoning, and asking us about demons. We can put 2 and 2 together.
So you're saying now, though, that you saw them being summoned?
No, we said that if you're
I saw a
talking
farmstead
about...
in flames.
Yeah. And you're pressing questions about demon summoners, and we're telling you that it caught on fire, and so demon summonings and fire go together.
Demon summonings and fires go together. Okay.
According to your logic is what we're saying.
That's
even
what I'm
though
assuming.
We didn't see, even though we didn't see demon summoning, you are stating based on the situation and the range of questioning.
Yeah.
We are making the assumption that fire and summoning go together.
I'm not a demon summoner, but I assume it involves fire. That is what I'm trying to get across to you.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Let's try this a little bit of a different way, then. What caused their horse-drawn carriage to get spooked?
It's possible it maybe hurt us before any of the people at the farm heard us. Is my Discord acting up? No.
No, your Discord's not acting up. I'm just waiting to see if anybody else interjects.
That was an arrow shot at the thing, right? At the
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I agree with our young master. We may have startled it.
Yeah.
Horses get spooked. Horses run.
Okay.
I don't know a lot about demon summonings, but I believe they would be loud and scary. And if I was a horse next to a demon summoning, I would run.
Say, don't demon summonings usually involve the blood of animals? I would run too if I were a horse.
So, let's see here. So now, okay, so you're saying that the horse got spooked by you guys? So then it comes into the next question: were you guys on the farmstead property?
I wasn't.
Okay. What
And
about
look, I wasn't paying attention to the horse. I'm not the horse's mom.
And what about your attendants?
I was attending to our master.
I was with these two.
I was with the young master.
Technically, you weren't because he was down the
ran
road.
Off, yeah.
Yeah. So
I am truthfully saying I wasn't at the farmstead.
Yeah. So you can't say that you can't say that you were with him. He said I was with these two. I'm assuming he didn't point, so that can still technically can be considered with you and Roux.
Yeah.
As truthful.
You could say you were with me too, because I said I was with Ryan. And I don't have to tell the truth.
Say I was with my sister.
Okay. So then the next question is, if if you guys weren't at the farmstead, how did you guys get close enough to spook the horse then, apparently?
I
Didn't
don't believe none of us implied that we spooked the horse.
I could have sworn, if I remember right, you guys did say as your characters that the horse probably heard us or something.
we said
Yeah.
we could potentially the horse could have potentially been spooked by us, but we didn't explicitly say that we spooked the horse.
Yep.
And then Remy and then Ryan kept going on about how demon summonings can be frightening, and that could have possibly spooked it.
Yeah. What I said was it's possible that the horse, having, heightened animal senses, could have detected us before the people in the farm could have heard us.
So does that mean that you and your attendants agree that a horse can hear you from the distance of the farmstead to the distance of the woods?
Okay, we also said we saw the house and then went into the woods, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think you guys said you guys were in the woods and then you were coming out and you saw strange people or something like that.
Yes, it is completely possible that the horse could have heard us before we had left the main road to go into the woods.
I agree with that, though I
Mhm.
was inside of the wagon. I wasn't paying attention to a horse. I'm just making assumptions.
And some horses spook more easily than others.
We have this horse back at back in our town, spooked all the time. Yeah, I one time as a child stubbed my toe, and this horse heard me from 3 blocks away, and I stubbed my toe, which is ow! I stubbed my toe, and it ran.
I kind of have a feeling that this story is technically a lie.
I have no idea what my childhood was like, Hesper.
Exactly.
It's a
He
true
doesn't,
story.
but you do. Okay.
Yeah, I literally wrote a character backstory for Albrecht, so I'll hand it over to you later, Hesper.
All right. Trying to decide if the questioning's been long enough or not. Yeah, I'm trying to decide if the line of questioning probably would have taken about 10 minutes at this point. I almost want to say probably did.
Well, I like the sound of that.
Well, it definitely feels like it's taken like 10 minutes if I kind
Oh,
of take
yeah, it really feels like an eternity, Hesper.
All right. Well, I'm gonna say probably 10 minutes have probably passed at this point. So in other words, I'm probably gonna say at the point that Remy was probably making his story up about the horse stubbing his toe or whatever. I'm probably gonna say at that point is probably when the 10 minutes passed.
Yeah, like in the middle of his story, and then he just fucking goes off the rails because he doesn't have to tell the truth anymore.
Pretty much.
Yeah. if that gives you any indication.
So, anyways, the one that apparently, his name's who's been questioning you that you've kind of gotten a little bit of his name is
Roll?
Bunzek.
Oh, Bonzek. Okay.
Bunzek.
Right. Roll is
Yeah,
the older guy, right?
yeah. Grohl is the oldest gentleman
Okay.
currently in there.
I have in my notes as old fuck.
Old fuck.
And
Wow,
Bunzek
Aster.
is old man with tear symbol.
Anyways, the the one who's questioning you seems to be lost in thought. And the one who was who greeted you before, Grohl, turns towards him and is like, "So, what do you deem, Grand Judge?" And he's sitting there. He's like, "Well, with what guidance I can get from Tyr, can't seem to catch them in any kind of webbing of lies. So I'm going to have to go and say that Tyr is essentially saying that they're innocent of being associated with this uh this misunderstanding." So basically at that point, uh Grohl seems to kind of turn back towards you and be like, "Well, since I believe we've gotten this misunderstanding pretty much straightened out, I guess we can go more into uh how should I say, formalities."
That's code for wine, right?
That will come with the the dining later on. Is you being a coming from a, well, granted it's a merchant noble, but still noble. You do know that there are other pleasantries that we must dispense of with first before partaking in such things.
Uh, well, this is my first time standing in for one of these negotiations. My father is currently unwell.
Well, I mean, that is sad to hear.
And
Uh,
I mean my uncle by that. I habitually call him my father.
Understandable. Well, seeing as this is your first time here, uh, I'm essentially, I believe you've been told that our town of Dunreen is generally run by a jarl,
That's correct.
but as unfortunately as you can probably see, he is how should we say, no longer present with us.
Truly sorry for you and all of your town's wonderful people's loss.
Well, it's appreciated. Anywho, until we can figure things out and get things more stable, the rest of his council, as you see before you, will be acting as essentially. Well, I was just trying to figure out what was going on.
Well,
It's yeah. Uh, will essentially be acting in place of. Uh, this council will be acting in place of a in place of our jarl and have to go off of our best judgment. Anywho, if you currently have any questions, we will be glad to answer what we can.
Yeah. I have a question. Where's the restroom?
Where's the is this a
are we taking our 5?
Yeah, it's time to give Odie a shot.
Okay.
okay, I didn't know if this was an actual question or if this was
Sure,
a
sir. All right, I'll be right back.
Be right back as well.
all right. Yep. Go ahead and take a couple and take care of stuff. Go ahead and go on a little bit of break.
doot, 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 doot. We're live.
Alrighty.
You guys are all out of paper towels in the bathroom.
Duly noted. We'll get the court janitor to get on that.
Yeah. You want to hit me up with a? Somebody want to hit me up with a prestige? Try these things off.
Okay, I shake my hands violently.
I didn't even know what you were referring to. I think.
Prestidigitation.
Oh, he said prestige, right?
Prestige.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I want to cast spells in the courtroom.
Yeah, as soon as I said, I was, no, probably nobody wants to. So I shake my hands violently.
I just don't even want to go there. We knocked the interview out of the park. Let's just not give them any more ammunition.
Alrighty. Let's see here. Well, anyways, they asked you if there's any questions. So if there's any questions you guys would like to ask.
Like, is this the part of the interview where I ask about their dress code, or
Whatever you want to, ask about.
I don't think I have anything I want to say to them that's not really spiteful and mean. So I think I'm just gonna keep it to myself.
Alrighty.
Yeah, and it would be inappropriate for me as a guard of the noble to speak up, anyways.
I've indicated that I just want to see the ledger and I just want some wine, and they've delivered me neither, so I assume they're just continuing to be rude with me.
So I was gonna say, judging by stuff in here, I would say the hostility's probably lessened after hearing the one that is called the Grand Judge.
Yeah.
Basically say that,
Dave Grohl, the Grand Judge.
that you guys were basically, you know, basically deemed kind of how should I say,
Guilty of being innocent.
Innocent, apparently according to, judgment by tier.
Oh, right, so it's innocent, I guess. Oh.
But anyways,
So is he still leaving it dangling because he wants some sort of answer, or am I waiting for a response from you?
He's he's just kind of sitting there waiting, seeing.
I just want to see who's waiting for who. Okay,
He
don't have
was
any.
Waiting to see.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
and you
don't have any
that.
questions really, so I would like to move on with the formalities.
All right. So you have absolutely no questions? Okay.
Yeah, we want to be extra careful, Hesper.
Okay. Oh. Definitely curious on why, even after being questioned and such, about such, on wondering, why you don't seem to be the least bit puzzled on why you were
Being questioned?
being accused and such,
I
But I
think
guess
we're past curious and we're just straight at upset and annoyed, to be honest. So.
That's where I'm at. Yeah.
because remember think about it in this way, Hesper. We've been out in the cold for a long period of time. We were out in the gate for a long period of time, and then on top of it, there was the questioning and all that, which is again, it's part of the story. But so at this point, realistically, the characters are exhausted. So if we could hold the questions for later, when the young master can rest up and eat something, then we can go ahead and do that if that's possible.
Yeah, so in character, I will say something to the effect of, we spent hours walking around in the snow with your guards, who accused us of summoning demons, and honestly, any curiosities I've had have just turned into sadness and annoyance, and I kind of just want to get my business done.
Again, we're bluffing Hesper so that they don't question us further.
I see. Well, I surely hoping that after your business has been so-called concluded, you weren't planning on leaving anytime soon.
And why do you say that?
Does that sound like a threat?
Oh, it's not a threat. But with the way that things are going right now, people who come here have generally been warned that entering the city, due to what we're currently experiencing, until we solve this issue and quell it, we have not been letting those leave here in fear of spreading to other lands.
Makes sense.
So,
But we'll talk
anyways,
about that later, though. Once the young master gets
Yeah,
something to eat.
I think maybe we will continue that discussion after everything else.
well, unfortunately, right now I can't let you see and we can't let you see the ledgers today. That will have to wait till tomorrow. But I guess we can go ahead and I guess get. I mean, we obviously know who you are, Albert. Al, Albrecht Muschel. But I'm pretty sure you have no idea who we are.
That's correct.
Let me see here. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out. I'm just checking some stuff real quick too. There we go. Okay. Uh, all right. So, anyways, as I was stating, I am Groll Cad's keeper of the records. The rude one with his face buried in the various.
When he says rude one, I look around the room at like all of them. Like which one is he going to name?
He's pointing towards Archmage Grandclaw and
Okay.
introduces him as Archmage Grandclaw, who seems to not give him any mind. This and the rest of them go through and introduce themselves. The one of the probably one of the dwarfs introduces himself. He goes, I'm Master Builder Urum, and the other dwarf sitting next to him goes, I'm Master and I'm Master Balmore, sorry. Keeper of the Deeps. The gnome female seems to perk up next. She says, "Hi, I'm Carsey, Watcher of the Woods."
Wood Watcher.
The one standing there with the hammer goes, in the symbol in the holy symbol of Tyr goes, I'm Grand Judge Bonzek Bonzek Ragni. And then the other two seem, the male and the female human who have yet to speak. One of them goes, I'm Gurum Winterpelt, and the female states herself as Noshia Peacewood. Or Noshara Peacewood.
Jesus.
Wow.
Sorry.
That's okay. I mean, those names come up.
Okay, so I have 9 people. Is that
9?
It's 8.
I have Bunzik, Rolled, Groll. Oh, is Rolled and Groll the same person? I have a rolled old fuck. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Grol. Yeah. If you want me to, I'll go through and spell all their names.
Oh no, this guy's forever Dave Grohl. Okay.
All right. So, anyways, they go ahead and introduce themselves, and at that point, they go ahead and stand up and go. Well, since it seems like until you manage to get yourself fed and satisfied, you'll have to until we manage to, I guess, do that. You don't seem to be humoring us with anything else at this point. As like I said, they stand up and along with the guards, you know, I'm assuming you guys follow with them. That you guys eventually are let out of the room and through a couple of other corridors until you get to a fairly sizable like dining area.
Is this building that we're in like super nice?
It's probably the nicest building that you've been in.
Yeah, nicest
Yeah,
building in Dunreen, probably.
probably.
All right, nice.
Because it's meant to, it's not only where the Jarl stays, but it's also like where other nobility and
So
such from
I have a
other
question,
countries would come.
Hesper.
Hmm.
Now we're in here. How does it compare to, uh, I guess, our area in Feldnitz?
Fieldnitz definitely has a lot more windows.
Probably because
Um,
it's not snowing there all the time.
More of an open
yeah,
design.
yeah. Feldnitz is just, Feldnitz, like we said, is more temperate rather than this kind of mountainous frozen tundra that Dunreen seems to be. Um, like I said, definitely a lot less windows, more kept lit by torches and such, uh, sconce and such as and chandeliers. The like I said, it's nice, but at the same time, the structure is a lot more like instead of properly like you would see probably at like the fanciest places there in Feldnitz where it's probably properly laid tile and such. This is more just um it's more just kind of placed um as it fits and unless pieces need to be worked and stuff, stone flooring. um Again, like I said, it's very much the feel of this is very much kind of like that, like high end, um, Norse kind of feel of the structure and castling and stuff. It's like I said, it's nice in comparison to other places in Dunreen, but you probably kind of feel like a lot of the structural designs of this mostly built to deal with the cold rather than um more function over form basically.
Hmm.
It's not saying that there isn't like decorations and stuff like that, but it's definitely a lot more along the more minimalistic compared to Feldnets. But yeah, as I was saying, you guys do come to this dining chamber. Currently, like in the center of it, seems to be a fairly large table with 9 chairs placed at it.
I wait for somebody to like offer a hand, like you sit here.
I'll be right back.
Well, you're assuming with the 9 seats and stuff like that, and especially, well, looking around, you're like, well, that seems kind of weird that you know the Archmage Grand Qua it seems like they must have split off and went somewhere else. Probably
Makes
tired of
sense.
dealing with this.
Yeah, he's off
So
doing
you're
his
saying,
other thing.
yeah, yeah, and kind of looking at it, they're kind of sat in the exact same kind of order that they kind of were sitting in that
Hmm.
kind of audience hall, except a little bit shifted around and such to kind of make sense for obviously not being 13 people. The table's quite spacious and kind of spread out a bit. Um, I kind of feel like you're gonna have to holler if you're going to want to be heard all the way across the table. You're assuming more than likely your spot is probably going to be the one that's in between Gurum Winterpelt and Noshia Peacewood.
Okay.
The two that didn't seem like they had any particular title to them.
Are my retainers somewhere else? I missed that.
Yeah.
I
As soon
guess
as
they're
you,
not
as
nobles,
soon as you,
so
yeah, you're assuming that they probably, if they're probably, and you do notice that some of the guards do stay in here. Um, some of the others seem to go off in another direction. It will seem to go back a little ways the way that you, after seeing that you guys made it here.
Mhm.
You're assuming probably wherever they go is probably more than likely where your retainers will probably end up going, because this table setup is definitely not set up for you plus them.
that's what I was wondering. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. It's only set up for the 8 of them and you.
Hmm. Okay, so wait, there were originally 13 of them. Did they already just like get a new table and chair set up?
No, you're probably just assuming they pulled. I mean, because, like I said, the table is like extremely spacious, and you're
Okay, so
assuming
they just pulled chairs or whatever.
they just pulled chairs out, probably away
Okay.
from it and stuff.
Okay.
You kind of have a feeling looking at this table and such. It probably at full capacity could seat like 25 or more people.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to catch you in a lie after all that, Hesper.
Uh huh. And no, they just and I mean, if you if you want to roll a perception check or something like that, you can feel free to.
Nah.
No, okay. But anyways, um, very much like I said, the setup for you and these 8 remaining members of the council. Um, your attendants, I don't know what they plan on doing.
Well, I mean, we're waiting to be told where to stand. I mean, I'll stand outside the door if that's where we have to be, but don't they usually send us to like the barracks or something nearby within the same keep for us to eat something?
Well, you're assuming that's probably where the other guards went.
So we weren't told though.
No, you guys weren't told.
So then I'm gonna stick by where Ryan is and just stand outside the door because I don't want to get caught in another situation where they try to pin something on us.
Okay. What about Roux and Remy?
Yes,
I guess we're all sticking together.
Okay, so you guys are going to stand outside the door.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what bodyguards usually do, so.
Okay. And like I said, there's about 6 of the guards remain back with the 8 council members and such, and Ryan in his mutual disguise.
Well, and I guess I will ask Ryan if he can ask them to allow us to stay within the room, just not eat. Obviously, just stand nearby as a show of loyalty or fealty or whatever. So I also don't want to leave him completely unguarded either. As you're
Well, they have
talking,
guards in the room.
yeah, but they're guards for them, not for Ryan.
Well, I'm guessing that they'll protect anyone in the room.
Yeah,
Something was
but
gonna
doesn't it sound
happen.
like shady if all of us leave the room?
I don't know. I don't know enough
Okay.
about any of this.
Then I'm gonna stand near Ryan, in the same distance as the other guards are standing with their people that they
The
have
other
to guard.
guards are technically towards the outside, kind of close to the walls of the room, not standing near the You got two towards the door that you guys entered in, flanking either side of that, and then the far corner, and then halfway in between. Those are along the wall.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood. I thought there was a guard per person and standing near
No,
them.
no. There's only there's 8 of them. There's 6 guards in here. The rest of the guards, after they got here, went back the other way, and then so that would be the other 4 guards. Went back after you guys left and went down a different hallway after they deposited all 9 of them.
Okay, so I guess then my question is, the owners of the keep are so ill-mannered that they won't even dismiss us to go eat somewhere else. That's my question? Because don't they not like dismiss us and let us go? Like, oh, you can send so and so to the keep and eat there. Like instead of they just walk in and expect.
So far, given what you've experienced of this town, are you surprised by ill manners?
Yeah, I'm not surprised. So yeah, I'm gonna approach Ryan and whisper in his ear and ask him if we can be dismissed.
It might just be cultural differences and such, as well.
Yeah. So I'll approach Ryan and bend over his ear loudly enough to ask if the young master will dismiss us, and or would you like for us to wait for you?
Okay.
Excuse me, everyone, but where will my retainers be enjoying their meals?
Right. You probably aren't used to our as opposed to one who's probably older and from your house who's probably been here before. Usually once we've been guided to the grand dining room, to the grand hall to dine, your your guards, servants, protectorates, whatever you wish to call them, are free to go. They should have followed the other 4 as they were probably heading to go relax for a while.
Yeah, things are a bit different here, but it might be a special case to me. I kind of consider them all my family. The 2 young sisters in particular helped raise me and educate me when it turned out that I was to become the heir.
Oh, interesting.
So, Sophia, you may tell the others that you are dismissed.
I will do, young master. And then I walk off and tell Roux and Remy where the hell we're gonna go.
All right. So, do we have any idea of where like the guards sleep?
We can ask the guards outside.
Well,
They could lead us to the.
like I said, those other 4 pretty much left pretty quickly. I'm assuming you can ask one of the ones that are probably closest to the door or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing, are you doing that?
Mm-hmm. Remy, you want to ask them where we can go to the barracks and what is the hall where they eat?
Mess
Called?
hall?
Mess
The
hall?
mess hall. That's I couldn't remember.
Sure. I go up to one of the guards who's sitting there. He's like, hey man, where can we get some grub?
He seems a little annoyed.
God, I love Remy.
gives him a kind of a
Mhm.
hold on a moment kind of gesture, and seems to dig around in one of his pockets and pulls out a stone and starts speaking into it. He's like, "Yeah, we need one of you guys to come back here. The three with the young noble from uh Triple Slow seem to have gotten lost and didn't follow you guys, so need one of you guys to come back and get them and show them well, where they'll I guess will be eating tonight before they leave to go take rest elsewhere." And after he says that, eventually one of the guards comes back and just kind of motions for you guys, kind of like a "come on, follow me" kind of situation.
Okay. You know, take a damn time. Proudly walk over there.
Okay. So yeah. So Ryan, you're in there with the nobles. And it seems like a long and slow and kind of grueling kind of dinner
Oh, good.
where
We're truncating it, abstracting it. Great. Load off my shoulders.
well, if there were anything that you wanted to talk about at the
No.
table and stuff, I'm so you're just gonna sit there.
I will I will regale them with stories about how I live in a lap of luxury back home. All this responsibility got thrusted on me. I got pulled out of a party and basically told to do chores, and so I'm in the midst of doing them, and it's a bitter pill to swallow that I can't go back home just yet and go party some more. How's that sound?
Okay. I mean, I guess if that's something if that's how you want to run things, sure. Um,
I'm a merchant noble. I'm assuming I just spend my nights at the brothel. Like,
that's totally up to you and stuff. I
yeah.
didn't know if you were going to try fishing for certain information and such or what.
Let me think. That actually never even crossed my mind.
Yeah, so that's why I was just kind of, like I said, this is going to be over a long period of time. It's a long, grueling dinner. It takes
Okay,
a
sure.
while between courses. There's quite a bit of booze involved.
Good, good.
For
Uh,
depending if you partake and such, and
absolutely.
and like I said, this, you know, like a normal person would sit there and probably eat dinner in like half an hour or something like that. This is probably like a grueling 2.5 hour long dinner kind of
Oh dear
thing.
God.
God, that sounds like actual hell with all these like old fucks.
Welcome to nobility and fucking crazy shit. As you know, kind of bits and bobs that you pick up and such from them. They seem to be discussing certain not too private or too um nothing like really kind of, trying to keep trying to keep it to business, but also at the same time not revealing anything like personal or anything
Mm-hmm.
too like bad for information for other people outside the city to know of.
Okay. So I think I have some questions, and they're all kind of conjoined together here. So I guess I'll just say, so what's Archmage Grand Quad's deal anyway? And is the Grand part of his name or part of his title?
Okay. Well, it's actually all a title. Nobody actually knows his real name.
That's Well, I was kind of kept secret for a while, but I guess that was a special case too.
And the Grand Claw he got from somewhere else. The Archmage is what he got. Well, he also got the Archmage before he got it here as well. We're not quite sure quite where he got, where the titles were bestowed upon and such. The only title that he's been bestowed upon since he's been here in Dunreen is that he is the essentially the court wizard.
Who, okay, so based on, the circumstances of my arrival here, uh, forgive me for saying this, but you all seem to be a, paranoid bunch. So who vouched for Archmage Grand Claw to get him to the seat that he has today?
That would have been the previous court wizard before he decided to take leave and go under his own personal studies. Um, so he gave suggestions to the Jarl about uh, Grand Mage, Archmage Grand Claw.
Does he stumble over that in character? Because I'm.
We can say probably so, yeah, because he's just like trying to keep these titles separate and
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, Archmage Grand Claw, was recommended from the previous court wizard before, and he's proved to be quite valuable.
Doesn't seem to, be very respectful to the lot of you.
Well, when you're younger and tend to garner a lot of, well, when you're younger and essentially proclaimed to be a prodigy, you tend to, well, how should I say, be a little bit probably more disrespectful than you should. But at the same time, he has other matters on his mind right now. Um, if it wasn't for those, he probably wouldn't be as disrespectful as he was currently. Unfortunately, you're probably seeing him at his worst.
So, okay, I have, two questions that kind of go off in different directions here, but, so what's he currently dealing with?
Well, I mean, it's no use on hiding currently that we're going through a pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
we believe, of a sinister nature. And currently, looking to, he is currently in pursuit of what we believe to be the prime suspect of creating this pandemic.
And connecting the dots, you're looking into some kind of, uh, demon worshippers?
Quite possibly. Granted, this is the first light of demons that we've seen since this has come to light, which is quite troubling.
So, what were you investigating before demons came to light?
Well, we're still investigating the same perpetrators, but we're assuming that they haven't weren't fully utilizing their capabilities until more recently.
Uh, hmm. Trying to do some digging, but I'm not sure exactly what to ask here.
And like I said, this is a large table,
Yeah.
so you guys are kind of having to like loudly talk to each other because you're probably trying to talk to the
Oh,
keeper of the
the
record.
head guy, yeah. He's
Yeah,
all
so
the way at the
he's
other
like on
end,
the
I'm assuming. Yeah.
pretty close to it. Yeah,
Uh,
I mean not exactly because there
I
are
don't want
9
to
of you.
actually yell into my microphone. That's bad TV.
Oh yeah, I know, but I'm just
Yeah.
giving context of this conversation. It's pretty loud.
Yeah, yeah. So do you have a description or anything that you've been tracking? Just in case
Und-
I run into him of what I assume to be a eternal stay in Dunreen.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Oh, I'm good at those. Oh, hey!
Well,
Yeah, when I was making this character, I had it in my head that I would always try to deceive. I was like, I don't need persuasion.
well, I shouldn't be. Well, I'm normally shouldn't be at liberties to talk about this. This would normally be handled by somebody else on the council, but unfortunately, they're no longer with us. But, anyways, it we will inform you later of a better description. But essentially, we're after 5 culprits at the moment. One, unfortunately, we do not know if it's through magical enthrallment or enchantment, or through his own volition. But one of them, unfortunately, seems to be one of our own. The other 4 seem to be siblings of some sort. At least that's what they've been passing themselves off to be. From outside of our city, one is a human male, one is a human female, one is a half elven female, and one is a peculiar short human. But we believe that these are key suspects and culprits behind this. We just need to apprehend them, and hopefully through apprehending them we will then be given respite from this pandemic.
So, I'm not being interviewed anymore, so may I speak plainly?
You may.
So, my retainers reported seeing some of the red cloaked figures in that farm, and they would have said something, I'm sure, if one of them had any kind of description that stood out, such as irregularly short for a human.
True. And who knows, since they've gotten here, then. Or they could have been here before and just more recently have shown themselves, but might have either brought in other accomplices or possibly, and forbid that this happened, other bewitched other members of our city into following them in an occult like fashion.
I guess what I'm trying to figure out is I'm trying to connect the dots as to why these groups are connected to each other. The siblings and the one you describe as one of your own, and the cultists that we saw.
Well, we're assuming more than likely that the vestiges that they've shown us in town are probably more of their facial facade as to hopefully not draw attention to themselves as they proceed to implant this evil upon us.
When did they arrive?
Let's see here. Trying to think here how many days you guys have actually been here in Dunreen. I want to say it's been a week.
Maybe a week and a half, I'm thinking.
Yeah, she probably tells you between a week and a week and a half, somewhere around in there.
Okay. And when did this sickness that's taken over your town start?
That well, at this point would have been, 5, 6 weeks ago.
Sounds like your Archmage Grand Claw has a lot of space between the dots that he has to connect then.
Yes,
How
well,
do you feel about it?
they've unfortunately, up until more recently, have been quite elusive in tracking down where this came from, but seems like they've started to slip up, probably due to overconfidence. I'm sure soon we'll have this settled.
How is, if you don't mind me asking, I'm sure it's kind of a trade secret, but how is the Archmage tracking these culprits?
I'm not too privy on the details myself, but some kind of magic that he and only he possesses.
Okay. Uh, well, I've been waiting to get back to that. So I'm very interested in what kind of man the former Archmage was, and that he can bring somebody to town with no name and no manners.
Well, generally, all court wizards are brought in through um, not too. I'm not too into their structure, but they're. I guess the easiest way to describe this is that there is essentially a in our lands, this includes Tipple Slow and such, there is generally a large collective of mages. And generally a town or city that pulls a court wizard pulls from this establishment. And Archmage Grandquois, even though that we do not know his name, I'm sure somebody at their establishment knows his real name. It's kind of one of those who do you know and of wizards.
So, did the previous court wizard have a great reputation?
Oh, I mean, he was able to do his job.
That's an interesting answer.
I mean, he wasn't the best ever, but he wasn't bad at what he did.
Like, okay, so out of game.
Mhm.
I want to press further, but this seems like a really like weird like conversation to be having like over dinner and like I feel like I'm grilling this guy at this point.
Yeah, you're probably getting pretty close to about where your persuasion would kind of allow you to go, I would say.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know, and I hadn't really thought that you were going to go in this direction, so I haven't really thought of the name of this establishment, and I don't want to sit
Okay.
here and figure it out. So that's kind of why I went off in this other direction.
I'm trying to see if basically what I want to know is if this court wizard wasn't excellent, why did they allow him to bring in a nameless, seemingly not very trustworthy person to replace him? Because it seems like at a game again,
Hmm.
Archmage definitely a bad guy, right? Right, guys, right? Um, what I'm trying to figure out is if it started with the court wizard who was ahead of him.
So essentially, what you're okay.
And
So
having some sort of name with this court wizard would help us investigate that if that is the case. So we
okay,
would then be able to investigate Grandquois without actually bringing him up, thus lowering suspicion of our activities.
okay. The okay. So he tells you the previous court wizard was an older elven man, uh, by the name of Rohorn,
Okay.
Rohorn. Um, and you know, after he decided, it was probably, I want to say it's probably been 5 years ago before, when he retired. So Archmage Grandquois has been here for 5 years.
Okay.
And yeah, like I said, Rohorn just kind of, made a recommendation for bringing Archmage Grandquois into the court when he was wanting to retire and pursue his own personal studies before um, you know, elven death.
So I'm sorry. I after all those questions, I just got in the mood to follow a train of questioning my thought. I'm not really all that invested in this, and I find myself just very curious about the man who's not here. But I do want all of you to have an opportunity to talk about yourselves to me.
Okay.
What
Well,
what are your interesting stories?
okay. We'll pick back up on that. I'm gonna
Sure,
go do it
sure.
because it's been a while, so I'll go tell the other three what they've been dealing with.
I'm trying to diffuse the situation caused by me just drilling this one person about the empty chair in the room.
Yep.
Because it's a really weird conversation, Hesper. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm trying to make it more casual.
Yeah, that's okay. So the rest of you, eventually, you guys make it to essentially, which is, it's not like they have a separate mess hall and a barracks. They kind of eat in the barracks. Um, Definitely not as nice as where you were in the dining room and stuff like that. It's definitely a lot more casual in here. Um, it's kind of essentially kind of this um Remy would probably be the closest to it to understand. It's the most common thing that they eat seems to be kind of like a stew that simmers pretty much all day. So as they get hungry, they just go get some and then eat and grab some bread or something like that, and that's pretty much their meal. Uh, there's a bucket for them to be able to grab water, and the ones who are off duty are allowed to get like an ale or something like that. The ones who are off duty and aren't going to go back on duty after they get done like resting for a little bit and eating.
All right. So we getting food? We hanging out?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything in particular you guys are you guys gonna do? Like I said, there's occasionally like a guard coming and a guard going every once in a while. One goes on duty, one gets off duty, so on and so forth. Like I
Do I
said,
recognize any of the guards that have passed through?
no. Like I said, they've all been a lot finer regalia than what you've seen before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming pneumonia guy is bottom of the totem pole.
Who?
Pneumonia guy.
Who's the ammonia guy?
The guy who I convinced to jump in the cold water after an image of the grandpa.
Oh, him. Yeah, he's just a regular guard in the port district.
Mm-hmm.
And comparing his regalia to these guys' regalia, there's like no comparison. These guys are obviously the better outfitted, probably better paid. And if you had to take probably a wild stab in the dark, you would say that looking at some of them and stuff like that might be like probably like, oh, this would be an easy cushy gig for you know how sometimes like rich and noble families, especially when they're very minors, like, oh, they'll get in the military or the guard or something like that, and
Mm-hmm.
work your way up to like, it won't take you long, and you just work your way up into guard captains and stuff like that, and so on and so forth.
And the most they have to deal with here is probably like, oh, this guy spilled my wine. No, he didn't.
Yeah, it's definitely with this part. It's definitely a lot easier going and stuff like that. So some of them look like that they could have come from very, very minor noble backgrounds from here, or like richer families. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's generally and it doesn't seem like they separate like, oh, here's the women, here's the men's barracks or whatever. It's just one
Okay.
Right.
co-ed barracks.
I see.
But anyways, like I said, you guys are kind of in here, and yeah, like I said, it's not nearly as nice as the other parts, but it's still, it's definitely nicer than like if I probably had to put it on a scale, it's probably a little bit below what you guys were at with Snow Tier Inn. But anyways, as I was saying, it's probably like 5 or 6 guards usually in here at a time. Some eating, uh, some relaxing, some taking a nap, just different things. Depends on what you guys are interested in doing.
Guess grab some food and sit down next to some of the guards that are there eating, and just strike up a conversation. Yeah, don't you guys always hate these fancy dinners? Nothing ever happens, and we just kind of have to sit down here by ourselves, seen, not heard.
Much rather be dealing with this than prancing around out there in the cold trying to figure out, you know, some of the other happenings and goings on. This is a lot cushier than some of the other gigs we could have gotten.
Cushier, but a lot more boring. You guys got any interesting things going on in town?
Not since this has started up. Usually, when we're not on duty or whatever, usually staying around here. So,
No training grounds?
no, I mean, there's training and stuff like that, and we got a training ground and stuff like that. But you know, I'm assuming he was talking about other activities, and well, let's just say it's during this situation. There's not really too much of that going on right now.
What situation?
He just kind of looks at you and kind of looks over at the other two of you. It's kind of like, is this serious? Does he just like
Hey,
not
does
see
this
what's
guy have
going on?
amnesia?
Are you talking about the hoax going on up there?
Yeah, our friend over here, he needs a little convincing. So please humor him.
All right. Currently, we're going through a pandemic. There's a bunch of shitty people running around doing some really bad stuff, and causing all sorts of issues for our town, killing the vast majority of the population. It's been going on way too long. We just need to figure out where this is coming from and end it as soon as possible.
You got any clues?
We got some, but not at liberty to speak with them to those who are currently outside.
But we're inside right now.
I mean, outside of our
Barracks? No, we're in your barracks.
what's the word I'm trying to look for here? You're not part of our city.
Well, to be fair, I agree with you on that. We're not part of your city. But how long has this been going on for now? 5 weeks? 4 weeks? 6 weeks?
Somewhere around in there. Too
So,
long.
would you say that if you haven't gone anywhere in the last 6 weeks, just using your own sources,
Well,
would you say
as
that
I
an outsourced would help?
as I stated before, we seem to have gotten a pretty good trail. It's just actually apprehending them that seems to be more of the issue.
Oh, what? Got a trail? Got any descriptions? What do these fellas look like?
That way we could, notify you if we see them.
Roll me. Yeah, they're pretty tight-lipped. Roll me persuasion at disadvantage.
Me or Remy?
Remy, since he's the one who asked. 8. Yeah, you're essentially he's like, sorry, but I don't have the capability of being able to give the clearance of allowing you to have that kind of information.
Oh, I get it. You don't want the competition with people from out of town coming in and stealing your thunder. I get it. I get it. I get it.
No, I just don't want to lose my job.
Well, I guess in our town, when there's an ongoing investigation and there's 2 separate departments of, the police force, they at times collaborate when, there's a necessity. But I totally understand. Good luck with your.
Like I said, you're basically talking to like the normal guards, and it's like, if you're wanting that kind of clearance, you're gonna have to probably talk to like higher up the ladder. It's kind of more of those, it's like, it's kind of, you looking at them, it's kind of a possibility if they just kind of seem like there's a look of, am I being tested? Could these people not be who they actually say that they are? It's actually somebody that I don't know, and me leaking this information, and me possibly leaking information to them can get me fired because they're like some kind of super secret, like guard of the guard or something like that.
I guess I understand the part of who the criminals are, but I mean, if there's a wanted poster, isn't that like common knowledge? It's not some privy information, and we haven't been through the whole city to see the wanted poster to begin with. That's just my kind of logic behind that.
There seems to give a little bit. There's an old wanted poster, but there hasn't been a new one yet. We don't want to alert the ones who we're after that we're on their trail. And by assuming the new one, you're kind of sitting there like, okay, that must be what that thing is that Rhiennes took. Because he did find, essentially, was a wanted poster of all 5 of you.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because it came from the red guy's pockets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there might be a possibility that there's a...
I feel like we already knew where that was going.
Yeah.
So enough business. We're all off duty now. Got any dirt on any of the nobles up there? Some funny stories.
Dirt on the nobles. Okay.
Fun fact about our great noble up there. He can't ride a horse. Falls off every time. Oh, it's funny as hell.
Roll me a persuasion check.
At normal?
Yeah, and normally, no disadvantage. 13. Well, I probably shouldn't be saying this, but yeah, I guess I will. Carsey's a crazy squirrel lady.
A squirrel lady?
Yeah, crazy squirrel lady.
There's squirrels here?
I mean, are you asking in general, or is there's
Yeah,
there
in
normally?
general in this like area, isn't it too cold for those little creatures to be not hibernating right now?
It. You're assuming probably in this area they're more like probably like hardy like winter kind of squirrels.
Hmm.
And thinking about it, roll me a nature check.
Okay, let's see. My nature check. 30. At 6.
6. You kind of have a feeling that he's not talking about normal tree squirrels either.
Okay. So what makes her
But
crazy?
oh, she has too many of the things to count in her home. Essentially, he describes to you what's a crazy cat lady, but with squirrels
Oh.
and a little tiny gnome.
And a gnome.
Yeah, Carsey's the gnome.
Oh.
She's the watcher of the woods.
Hey, though, squirrels make good pets. I know somebody that had a squirrel.
Well, I mean, I guess they can if they bonded with you.
Well, where can we get one of those ales? I see some people drinking.
Let's see here. Yeah. There, you say that, and you just kind of take a look around, and it's like, oh, you just kind of see like a shelf that has these small bottles, like not like tiny bottles, but probably about the size of your like, easily. I would say it's probably like a 12-ounce bottle, made of glass,
Like travel size kind of.
kind of, and it has a like a cork stopper on the top. And like I said, there seems to be a shelf with quite a few of these on it.
All right, I'm gonna grab a couple of them, and I'm gonna place one in front of the guard I've been talking to.
You want one?
I'm sorry, but after I get done here, I got to go back on duty.
I know, me too, but I mean, nothing ever happens here. Go ahead and have one with a friend.
Roll me a persuasion at disadvantage.
It's not that bad.
12. I'd like to, but I just can't. I gotta stay sharp.
I understand.
Well, I'm just gonna keep chatting to the guy, just making up fake stories about nobles back in the town, and see if I can get any more dirt on any of the nobles here.
Roll me just a flat persuasion check.
Nice.
16. Okay. Yeah, he'll go ahead and divulge 2 more pieces of information. Yeah, I'm gonna say one of them is Noshia Peacewood. Apparently, there's a rumor going around underground and stuff like that that despite her noble lineage, that she also seems to be a mistress of the night.
Ooh, scandalous.
And the other one is about the keeper of the records, Girl Cats. The thing that's told you about him is he spends an hour every morning
Jerking it.
cleaning
Cleaning and maintaining
and
the shaft of his hammer.
No, this is the keeper. This is
Oh,
the old guy.
okay, right.
Spending like
I think his hammer broke
spending like an
years ago.
hour each morning cleaning and maintaining and his beard.
Oh.
Which for a human is an unusually long time. That it seems more, and he kind of goes, seems more like a trait of a dwarf. But yeah, that's all the information he gives you. What about the other two of you?
I don't really want to talk to anyone. I just want to.
Yeah, I'm just
Alright.
observing.
Yeah.
Antisocial, yeah, nothing out of the ordinary seems to be going on
Yeah,
here.
especially because I'm a half elf, so like I have to be as discreet as possible. I already kind of weirded them out earlier when I did prestidigitation and cleaned up everyone's clothes.
Yeah, and technically Lani looks like a half elf too, so. Anyways, alright. Aster, were there any other questions that you had?
At the end there, I don't really care. At the end there, I just kind of wanted to make everybody feel included because I felt anxious about like grilling that one guy over Granqua.
All right.
So I just asked them if they had anything interesting to share, I guess.
Well, I mean, as you know, I'm keeper of the records. My whole entire ordeal is just making sure that the records of everything that's been taken, history and anything else, is kept and maintained properly. Ulrim kind of butts in and he goes, I am Ulrim, master builder. Essentially, my entire job revolves around making sure that, he basically describes what's basically like a head foreman and construction and stuff for the whole city, basically.
Okay.
Grand Judge Bunzik, he basically, yeah, he goes, being a devout believer of Tyr and being blessed by him to be a grand judge. I follow his teachings and bring light and justice to our fair city. Master Balmore. He pipes up and he basically describes that he's basically the guy who oversees and maintains the people who work in the mines.
So that's what you mean by the deeps. Got it.
Yeah. Carsey, she kind of describes herself as essentially um being the one who watches over the woods and stuff outside and also seems to uh kind of be in charge of watching over and making sure that like the farms and stuff like that are seem to be working properly, that they're are growing food and such. She's and kind of looking at her and stuff, she kind of looks very kind of like druidy.
Okay.
Does druidy like does she have
I mean, she looks fancy, but at the same time, she looks like part of her would look more at home, kind of like out in the woods and stuff.
oh
When I say druidy, I don't necessarily mean that she is a druid.
so she's more woodsy kind of.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to describe it. I guess people that like the outdoors.
Outdoorsy. Yeah. Very attuned to nature and stuff.
Hmm.
Garum and Noshia, they basically describe to you what's, equivalent to being lucky lesser nobles who have been allowed to partake in the council. They're kind of the they're kind of, you can kind of think of them as the voice of the people.
Okay. Are they a couple, Hesper?
No, they are not a couple.
Okay, you keep referring to them as like together. They
Yeah,
don't have individuality. They're like a unit. you know.
I mean, like I said, well, I mean, they have different names. Garum
Yeah.
is Winter Pelt, and Noshia is
Yeah. Maybe
Peacewood.
they're just dating. Maybe he hasn't asked her
No,
yet.
no, not dating. Nothing like that. Doesn't seem to be any kind of interest between them. You're assuming probably Noshia Peacewood is more attuned to those outside the noble district.
Hmm.
Winter Pelt is very much kind of that high snooty kind of guy.
Snooty.
He's kind of
Yeah.
No
like
one's
me,
good
just here
enough
for
for
the
him.
wine.
Yeah, basically,
Wine and women.
anything that helps, you kind of get the feeling from him, anything that helps my pockets or those in this area is what's best. Nashia is more, um, she's more along the lines of, yes, it's nice for me to get money and stuff like that, but I'm not going to get money if the people out there are doing terrible.
I like her.
Yeah, she seems a lot more
She's got
noble
my
than...
vote.
So yeah.
Okay, so I have questions, Hesper.
Okay.
Okay, well, this one isn't a question, but maybe it'll lead somewhere. Uh, it's Grohl, right, with the nice beard. I'm gonna say, hey, Grohl. I just want to say, while we've been talking back and forth, really like the beard, man.
Yeah, and as you notice, he's been eating like very slowly and meticulously,
Oh
trying to
yeah,
avoid spilling anything on his beard.
fuck yeah, I know that
Yeah,
feel.
yeah. He seems to take a kind to the compliment very well and thanks you for it.
You got any tips? When I feel when I start feeling comfortable to bust out the beard.
Oh, let's see here.
I'm trying to follow up on the conversation that they had about his routine.
Yeah. The routine that you don't know about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can look at his beard, so that's what I'm.
Well, thank you very much. The only suggestion that I can give, other than making sure that you keep it well maintained, um, make sure that you comb it out regularly, and also, you know, kind of goes into this whole entire like description of like kind of like at night, like wraps his beard up so it doesn't get all tangled and
Yes.
stuff. And I think the biggest tip that he gives you is he's like, yeah, that and Tarwin's beard oil.
Okay. Is that a local brand, or could I get that from like a traveling
Unfortunately,
merchant?
no, and my stocks are running low. Actually, I'm
Ah,
surprised.
surprised I don't know
Uh,
about it because I typically just see the crates.
that could be true, but it is a product of Tippleslow. Apparently, there's a local little gnome alchemist there. Very good about maintaining proper beard, and I guess you know he's a little thinner on top, so he doesn't really talk so much about that. Um, and proper hair care products.
I just want to say big yes to everything that's happening in chat right now. Sleeping with either is awful. I got it to a point where it was like I've had it long enough to where it was like just starting to like not together, and that was the worst. Like it's a lot more painful than it like on the chin than it is when it's like tangled up, in your actual hair. Okay, so uh uh okay, so I'll just say, I haven't really given too much thought in like the actual products we carry. I mainly just see the numbers and like I sign off and rubber stamp them and then I go back to my wine and women. Honestly, this whole uh lineage thing was just kind of thrown on me within the past few years. So I'm still figuring it all out.
I can very much understand having to change one's perspective on life.
And Carsey, you said your name was?
Yeah, the gnome kind of looks
Mhm.
at you.
I was wondering, since the issue with the farmstead that we came across, if you've noticed anything else like that.
I mean, the only thing I can say about that is unfortunately it seems like they've been hit the hardest. I don't know what to do unfortunately with that though. There's nothing within my power in being able to solve that issue other than once we get everything solved here, getting things situated here. The only thing I can think about is gonna have to try to figure out some way to figure out on how to recultivate the land with less people, unless we can convince others to show up here.
I see, and it's all really unfortunate what you guys are going through here. I I don't know if I personally have any more questions. Yeah, that's it for me.
Okay. Okay. I'm just trying to think here. Anything else? All right. So, not really going to ask what the empty seats were about and stuff like that back in the chamber or anything like that, Aster.
uh, I, I assume as a player that it was kind of you showing me that the disease has kind of affected the nobility too. I figured those people are also recently deceased. Is that
More,
wrong?
I mean, you're assuming, yeah. I mean, it's up to you. You don't know what aspects of the town though, other than more than likely
Right,
the
that they
Jarl.
oversaw?
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, yeah. So, honestly, to tell you the truth, you don't know what other aspects of the town would have been.
Okay, so that feels like the smoking gun, so I will ask them about it.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I I guess I noticed in the previous room we were discussing things in, there was a bunch of empty seating. Um, are those also people who are recently deceased?
Unfortunately, within the 6 weeks or so that this has happened, yes, we have lost 5 of our members. I mean, the most Notable one that you probably noticed, and unfortunately it's the most recent one, which is probably why you noticed the town was very, well, let's say not very lively. But Jarl Strovold himself unfortunately succumbed. Of course, things for him weren't looking very well. Uh, since towards the beginning of this, the first one that we lost in our court was his wife.
That probably put a great scare in all of you, especially the Jarl himself.
Well, there's more than just a Jarl that affected, but yes. She was also in charge of religious practices here in Dunreen.
I see. And how are they faring now?
Well, I mean, the closest thing that they got to trying to keep the religions going into complete and total anarchy is Grand Judge uh
Bunzek?
Bonzek, yeah. He's about the closest thing that we have to something to kind of replace that. Not to mention our guards have kind of been in shambles since General Theodric passed away as well. He was in charge of not only our guards but also military affairs.
Uh, when exactly did that happen?
He happened about 3 weeks into the pandemic.
Okay.
But he wasn't looking very good there at the very beginning. Lasted a long time.
So what happens there? Your commanders just take it over piecemeal, or is there someone else in charge?
Well, with the way things are and stuff like that, each own individual section of the guard has been trying to be responsible for their own thing, but it's like a many-headed snake with nothing to lead them. They've been trying to keep it together, but granted, there's a little bit of order since Grand Mage, Archmage Grand Qua is been helping with this investigation. Let's see here. Then we do have Master Willen who passed away. Master Willen is sort of where you kind of put Master Winterpelt and Mistress Peacewood at. More of somebody added to the council to give their feedback and opinion on the local populace, except Master Willen dealt more with, I guess, what you'd call our minorities. Being a gnome himself, he seemed to resonate pretty well with our other dwarven and gnomish figures here in our town. And unfortunately for you, the one that you'd probably really mostly want to deal with, Master Defermi Ironhorn, head of trade and commerce, unfortunately passed away as well.
That's really unfortunate. I would have liked to meet him.
Yeah, well, like I said, that's part of the reason why we can't have you going to the ledgers quite yet. We're trying to get everything that has to pertain with this in order first. And that's a lot of paperwork that we're having to go through.
How long has it been since the Jarl passed away?
The Jarl would have been 2 days ago.
I bet you've all been running around like chickens with your head cut off.
It feels like it at times.
Well, I kind of feel like my mercantile division's gonna feel that way without me there in due time. So I hope that we can get this taken care of quickly.
That would definitely be for the best. And at this point, I would say that you guys are probably getting close to wrapping up this like 2-hour dinner and stuff like that. I mean, at this
Yeah,
point, when you guys were talking about this is probably finishing up the dessert.
we've about had this 2-hour dinner in real time.
Pretty much. Like I said, meanwhile, Raine and Roux are just staring at people apparently, and Remy's trying to talk to all the guards. Bubba
It's always
making
nice.
noise.
It's always nice when Bubba has a presence in here when he's not actually in here.
I know.
I feel like it's often.
Agreed.
I mean, we are talking about Bubba here.
Mm-hmm.
His presence is very loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Bubba would have hated this. I'm glad he's taken some time off.
Yeah.
He did miss the fight, though. He left just as we got our hands dirty.
Pretty much. But yeah, so like I said, finishing up the dinner and stuff. Afterwards, let's see here. Give me a second here. Uh, yeah. After the dinner and stuff, like I said, you guys probably start eating about 6 and stuff. It's probably like 8:30 now. Meanwhile, you three are like, "Oh my god, what's taking so long?" And I'm guessing you're probably going to ask if they can go fetch your guards for you there,
Yeah, it sounds
Aster.
great. Yeah. I'm ready to start abstracting some of the pleasantries here.
Yeah. So, essentially, Garl tells you that you'll be staying tonight at the Winter Maiden. It's an inn that's here in the upper parts. Um, they've already been informed that you'll be staying the night. Uh, I guess tomorrow we'll conduct our negotiations and then have you take care of the bit of business that you're thinking about taking care of. Uh, Speaking of which, by the way, you said that you came ahead of supplies. How long until those finally arrive?
uh, My understanding is I don't know. They're usually lagging behind a fair amount of us. They were still getting them ready when we left.
So how long do you think a fair amount would be?
5 days to a week?
Well, that is a shame, but can't be helped. So yeah, seems to be accepting of this. So apparently, you've given yourself in this facade 5 days to a week, or I guess a week technically,
Yeah.
before. Okay,
The
something
things
happened.
are
Yeah,
going. Yeah.
something happened. What's going on?
I was caught between like I should lie and say something that will make him like me. I was like, oh no, I should lie and make it so we have a lot of time.
Uh, yeah. So eventually, the rest of you are gathered and brought um over to meet up with the meet up with your young lord that I put quotes around, and eventually you guys are let out of the cape and given directions on how to get to the Winter Maiden,
Ooh.
and told and told that you'd be expected late morning, and to continue the discussions.
Okay.
As I'm guessing you guys are just going to go ahead and make your way over to the Winter Maiden.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Maybe meandering a little bit. Kind of want to take in the sights because we haven't been to this part of town before. So.
No, and the buildings the buildings here are quite a bit nicer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they seem to be better constructed and such. But still very much the same architectural design. The houses seem to be a little bit bigger.
Mm-hmm. Can only make them so nice looking when they're built to withstand constant snowstorms.
Yeah, pretty much. Um, Probably the most notable thing that you probably would have noticed in the other areas compared to this area is that some houses are, you can kind of think of it as the bottom floor and the top floor are like two different living domiciles. Like one family lives here and the other one lives above.
Okay.
And it would, with the
That's
ones
not
that
a
are just
duplex,
houses,
right?
duplexes are technically
Like,
next to each other, but I guess
yeah,
you can
yeah,
think of it as like a vertical duplex.
yeah. I'm sure there's a townhome. Is
I
that what
don't
I'm
know what
thinking
it.
of?
I don't know what it's
Okay.
technically called, but
Townhome has like a second story to it, but it's technically like an apartment. A
Oh,
small
okay.
apartment.
yeah. Okay, so maybe kind of like this, like kind of like you were saying, a townhome kind of feel, kind of 2-story house.
They share wall to walls with other buildings, so
Mm,
Yeah, well, yeah, these like the picture shows, a lot of the buildings are right next to each
mhm.
other unless they lead down an alleyway or something.
It'd
yeah.
be a
But
shame if a
the
fire were to break out.
I know.
well, probably the fire, the voluntary fire patrol or whatever is probably really hurting for people at this point too. So, granted, there's plenty of snow that would
Yeah.
melt. So, but anyways, as I was saying, this seems to be a lot of the houses, instead of built for possible multiple families, are built like very small, are built bigger and for like one family. So a lot more liberal use of the space, I would say, as opposed to the conservative that you've seen elsewhere in town. Especially when you got to the kind of the slummy part of town where the black market is and stuff. That one you wouldn't be surprised if like a building like housed like 6 or 8 families.
Oof.
But anyways, as you know, you guys kind of take your time to get there. Very much the same. Occasional guard patrols here. You're assuming that these are probably lighter because they don't assume that this area has been, I guess, infiltrated as bad as the other areas of town. Not quite sure. Could be that most of the guards are mostly kept within the keep area. Who knows? But very much the streets are very, very much kind of the same as the others. There aren't other people out and about. Um, Eventually, it takes you a while, but you do get to the the Frost Maiden, and like I said, it seems like a very nice establishment. Um, the Yeah, like I said, it seems like a fairly nice, fairly large establishment from the outside. Um, this, as opposed to like a lot of the woodwork that you saw and stuff, this one seems to use a lot more stone.
Can't set this one on fire.
Rip. Won't stop me from trying.
Oh God, I hope it will.
Yeah, that's also another thing. You've noticed that some more of the buildings here are made of stone as opposed to the other districts, which have been mostly wood. Which probably kind of helps set the niceness apart and stuff like that. As you guys are currently outside the Frost Maiden, the question is do you guys want to pick up here next time, or because my throat's starting to get really messed
Okay,
up?
sure, sounds great.
Yeah.
I didn't know if
yeah.
you wanted to pick up here next time, or if you guys wanted to head in and see what's going on first, or what you guys want to do.
I like having a little cliffhanger, Hesper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gives us something to think about, and it doesn't give me any reason to do for next session what I did for this session.
Yeah.
A whole lot of homework.
Yeah, you put a lot on me, Hesper.
Yeah, sorry. But anyways. Well, I mean, eventually you'll have to go through the long rest, and then you'll have to meet up for the negotiations and stuff. So you might want to be thinking about what you want to talk about at the negotiations and stuff, Aster.
It is so stupid. I hate this.
Well, I mean, this is the way that you guys planned on going through this, and that's the whole point of being a trade merchant, Noble.
Hey, I I wanted to just sneak in as a shadow menace, do my business, and leave through like a window or something, but everyone else told me no.
I was on board with you.
I don't remember what I said.
You were probably the one that wanted to do this.
I think maybe when we decided this, it was I was either internet died or a blackout. So
Okay, the other thing was this was at this point this was a handful of sessions ago at least, and
Yeah.
I was just rolling constant ones.
yeah, and then we eventually got approached by those group to do the sneaky sneak on the ledgers. So a different way of doing it. I mean, I don't know.
Well, you guys decided on this because this is the idea that the group that the other people came up with, not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Katie.
just wanted to like hop, skip, and jump my way over to like an open window or something and sneak in and write stuff in the ledger and sneak
Yeah, and I
out.
think
And I
somebody
feel like
pointed
that's
out
probably how Ryan is used to doing business.
probably. Probably also somebody pointed out that your rolls were really bad, Aster.
Yeah,
So
that's why I was like, yeah, sure, okay.
but anywho, yeah. So we'll go ahead and pick up here next time, outside the Frost Maiden, making your way inside.
I was just thinking about that song.
Yeah, me too.
Well, we didn't go downtown. Well, I guess we are technically quote
We
unquote
technically
downtown.
are.
Related to this, I had a thought this morning, and I was just randomly like, I wonder what Michelle Branch is up to. Related to that other song,
Oh,
because weren't those two like kind of like they came up at like the same time?
I have
No.
no idea. I'm terrible with pop culture. But anywho, yeah. I mean, did you guys at least have fun tonight?
It was
Maybe.
entertaining.
Yeah.
It was better than last session, Hesper, but I think
Watching
also
Aster
that was just
kind of flounder.
I was
is
in a
so
really
great.
bad mood last time.
Yeah, I hope you're getting into a better mood there, Aster.
I'm trying to get my shit back in gear. It's been a whole month of me just spiraling downward. Oh man, I'm trying to come out the other side of it.
All right. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Oh God, I got a hilarious Remy story if you guys want to hear that.
I am down to hear stories about
Oh,
puppies.
the dog. Okay,
The
all
The
right.
the dog Remy, not the dwarf Remy. So yeah, me and Mom took her out one night to go potty,
Mm-hmm.
and she's tired, so we took her out. She went out. She got in the position and started peeing, but then she started falling asleep, and then she just face plants into the ground.
Mood.
Oh,
That's the cutest. I love it when the
She just
puppies
goes,
do that.
and it's just hilarious because she just goes and just face plants into the ground and stays there
No.
until she gets done peeing.
Finn
I want
has
a
like a
puppy.
whole ritual when he's in the litter box. He kind of just like dances around and goes like it's like a little rain dance almost. The way it looks.
Elaborate rain dance.
Yeah.
Lani has been she's witnessed me trying to train our puppy Lola to pee on the puppy pad on command. But
You have to like stick her butt down.
well, that and now she like pees in the kitchen and then looks up at me. I'm like, yeah, but you peed in the wrong spot. You don't get a treat.
Oh, so I have a Finn story to go with Hesper's Remy story.
Okay.
Finn has always really liked ice cubes for some reason, and we just got like all new kitchen appliances. So like over the past few months, like Finn was just kind of like, yeah, I'm not that interested in ice cubes anymore. But like as like a little guy, he used to like just come running whenever we got like ice out of the fridge. You know, like he heard the sound, he would come running, and then we'd drop a cube and he'd bat it around and stuff. But he stopped doing that for months. But we got a new fridge like a week or two ago, and so it makes a new sound, makes differently shaped cubes, and he is all about it again. We'll come running from anywhere in the house when he hears ice cubes being made.
That's cute.
Yeah. And he likes batting them around, and then he'll sit next to them, and then he'll just like sit there and dutifully just watch them melt in the water. It's the funniest thing. Like he's fascinated by ice cubes.
Yeah, Remy did another dumb thing today. I just remembered. So she's gotten used to the point that she needs to sit before she goes and eats dinner.
Mm.
So she's excited and she's running around and she gets ready to sit. She's not paying attention where she sits. So all of a sudden she sits down and she sits in the water dish.
No.
What a cute baby.
And Mom's like, "Why are you putting your butt in the water dish?" But yeah.
I feel like my kitten will beat your puppy in an IQ test. Like, Finn is actively trying to learn science, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, the vet said, looking at Remy and stuff, she's pretty smart.
Yeah.
She's
I mean,
not fully developed yet.
Yeah.
She's just got to get more developed. Bella's smart when she wants to be, which I think having Bella here has been a big help for Remy because she's able to learn from Bella. The mom's
Yeah.
been calling Bella a butt recently because she keeps taking the toys and hoarding them.
She wants them all to herself.
Well, she's like that kid mentality of, I got this, you got that, I want it. So as soon as Remy drops it because she gets distracted by something, which is very easy for her to do at this point, Bella will grab it and jump up on the couch because Remy can't jump up on the couch yet.
Oh.
I use the keywords "yet" because she's trying to figure it out. She knows that she needs to. She started, about midway through the week. She'd just put her front paws up on the couch and just kind of stare. Now she's actively like trying to jump up on the couch.
What a cute baby.
Eventually, they're going to get too smart for their own good.
Oh yeah, well Bella's already too smart for her own good. She does something that she knows she's not supposed to, and then I come home and I'm like, Bella, what's this? And she's like, yeah, I know, I'm in trouble. She just looks at me like, I'm like, if you know you're gonna get in trouble, then why do you do it?
Must be
See,
late
I-
night.
I miss Bella. You need to come
Aw.
over so I can see Bella again.
Yeah, I do, but you and Bubba need to figure out when's a good time for that to happen. I've been waiting.
Yeah, we both work so much right now.
Yeah, and I don't think we're going to be able to pick up on the Rick and Morty session since I think what's her name does a whole lot of work over there at the hospital because of this.
Yeah, we got to try though.
Okay, I'm gonna kill the stream session now because it got
Okay.
a little bit into life stuff.
Yeah, kind of out of the way. Yeah.